Welcome to the first video on methods. And before I really talk about how to make a method or really what it is, let's just talk about the basic structure here of classes that we've been building in Java. With public, the word public, of course, it means it's open. It's open to use. Public is open to use for other classes. We have class, which just signifies that this is a class. This is a program, if you will, a Java class. And then we have our name. And so this whole class is filled with directions and code and things that we can do and run. And now we see, remember, public static void main again. Public again just says this thing is open to be used in the public or for other things to use. Static, for now, static just means we're about to do something for the entire class. We're going to do something for this class. Void this keyword here, void, could be multiple things. Now, void means that it's not going to return anything. And as you know, our main method, our main part of our program, is just a list of directions that says, hey, do some things for this class. So void means don't return anything. Don't like give me a value back, but just follow a set of instructions. That's what the void means. Just do this stuff. Main is the name of a method. We've always written a main method because it is the main meat of the program. It's what gives all the directions. When you run your class, the Java compiler looks for the main method because it's where it finds directions. The string and the args and the array is something that is needed and required there, and I'll leave it at that for now. But what I'd like to do here is I'm going to declare an integer variable just to be 10. We're going to start super easy in this video. And for now, let's just say I'd like to double the number 10. So we know there's a lot of different ways to do that. And quick review, I could do a times equals 2 would be one way to do it. And I could just print out a just to verify that and find out what it equals. No big deal. I just doubled it. It's 20. Now, what I can do next, that was just a really easy way to do it. Of course, I could not do times equals. I could go equals a times 2, and that would be the exact same thing. Another quick review there, and I'll get 20. No big deal. Now, what if, though, really I would like to have a little program within my program that I could call, that I could say, hey, I got this little program built that can just double numbers for me whenever I want them doubled. And so what I need to do is go up here. I'm going to include it before my main class, not necessarily required, but my main class right above it. I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to create a new class that I'm going to call times 2, because I'm going to double the number. Now, of course, before I can create it, I would need a header just like we have for our main class. We have public static void main. Well, I am going to do public static. Now, I'm not going to put a void because this thing is actually going to spit back a number back to my program. So this is going to spit back an integer value. So I'm going to go public static int times 2, and my little method, this is called a method because I'm writing my own little set of directions up here. Now remember the main method, which includes all the directions for the program. It's a set of directions that the Java compiler looks for and follows. Where I am now creating my own set of directions up here that I'm going to say whenever I want you to, I want you to follow these directions. So inside here, what I would like to have happen is I would like this little program to spit something back to me. I would like this little program to spit back a number times 2. So I need a return. The return says return something to me when you're done running. And I would like it to return the number that I give it times 2. So I'm going to go n times 2 like that. Now, it doesn't have an n to work with. So if you remember correctly, we have parameters. Okay, parameters are these things that have to be passed, things that it needs to know. For example, a println says, hey, print something, but you need to tell me what to print, so you pass it some information, and it prints that information. Well, times 2 needs a number. It needs an integer number to work with. So I'm going to give it an integer n, an integer called n, And then I'm telling it to return back to me whatever n times 2 is, which is going to double that number. So in my code down here, what I can do, now if I print out a down here in the code, of course I'm just going to get 10. And that's just going to give me the number 10 because that's what it is. But if I print out um, this method that I just created, and the method is called times 2, in a method, remember we have parentheses after the method, just like dot add, dot get, in array lists, just like other methods that we've had, um, dot floor and square root and things like that, and math.pow. Those are all methods. But if I go times 2 and then I give it a number, a, like that, okay, so notice all my errors go away because it's all legitimate code now. And I have a print statement. It says, what do you want me to print? I want you to print whatever the answer is to this problem, times 2a. So a, remember we start on the inside, a is 10. It says, would you pass the number 10 to my times 2 directions? So it jumps up here. It says, oh, there's your times 2 directions. You gave me a, that's now called n, and I'm going to take the number you gave me and I'm going to times 2. So now I'm going to have this line of code right here pass out 10, and this line of code here is going to output 20 because it's going to double it and output it, 10 and 20. So what I've done is I've started to create my own little mini program, one that I've invented. Now one that's in the Java library, not an import statement, but I'm the one that's creating the little programs within my programs. And now whenever I want a number doubled, I simply can go times 2 and put the number. Now it is very important to remember and to keep note that if I were just to print out a again here, and I were to run this program, it is going to put 10, 20, 10. So it's very important to realize that what my method does is it did not change the memory here. It did not change the memory of A. It simply doubled A and spit it back to me. Okay, so we're not really changing the memory. Of course, if I wanted to change the actual memory, I could do that in here by saying A times equals 2. Times equals 2. That would change the memory. Because in this case, if I run it, A is 10, A is now 20. It will print me 20. It will pass the 20 to times 2. The times 2 will double it and return 40. And then it will print 20 for me again. So I will get 20, 40, 20 with this one. It's a basic introduction to a very, very simple method. It's a mini program that you write on your own. Okay, you leave it public in most cases so it can be opened open to use in this whole program and outside. Static, I'm about to do something for my class. I'm going to work inside my class and work with some things. Int is because I am returning an integer. Notice when I highlighted int that this return n times 2 was a little shaded there in gray because it's returning an integer to me. Okay, so times 2 is the name that I give it. I get to choose the name of that method or that mini program, just like I named my class here. I called my class Methods01 because this is the Methods01 video. Of course, I need parameters in this case because I need to know what number you want me to double. So you need to tell me a number, an integer number, and I will do this for you and return for you 2 times that. One last example, I could just output here if I wanted to. I could go times 2, so I could call it, and of course I could just put a number, 15, in here if I want. It doesn't have to say A. Okay, and then of course this line of code is going to output, it's going to double the 15, so it's going to output 30. So I'll just run this again, and my last code will be 30, my last line. And so now I have my own little mini program to double anything I want. I just have to tell it what to double.